today's focus is going to be on creating your purpose and understanding how to have a purpose statement so that you can really think about how you're going to do everything, right? So that's what we're going to focus on today. And with that is really being intentional to understanding. Next week, we're going to go over some goals. And so this is one of my favorite planners. I've been through planner after planner after planner. And this goes over yearly goals, and it does it by the quarter. So you just have like every quarter you get a new book. And so every quarter I revisit my goal. So this is, it's really just helped me to be more intentional. And I love bringing it up on Monday because I think really Sunday night is the best day to do it, and to just plan your whole week out and to just be very, very intentional about what are your 3 big things that you want to accomplish this week. So what are the 3 things? You don't want to put any more than that. You want to just say, what are the 3 main areas that you want to focus on this week? And then with those 3 areas, break it down into each day. What are, based on those overarching goals of the week of what you want to achieve during the week, what are 3 things that you would have to focus on each day? And so let's just think about today, what would be your 3 things that you want to focus on? And so everything that you do can be more purposeful and more intentional. So today we're mostly going to just focus on purpose, but there's 3 areas of this. It's to understand your purpose, to understand your values, to understand who you're becoming, your overall arching vision of what you envision for yourself. And then it's the goals that align with all of those things. So we won't be able to get into every area. It's usually like a full day course, but I'll share, bits and pieces that will help you to just dig down a little bit deeper. Oh, sorry, Sandra, it's not feeling well. I hope you feel better. And if you do want to use the chat box, go ahead. I'll see any messages in there. So we are born creators, right? We're natural born creators. We are constantly creating. And so because we're constantly creating and we constantly are putting out our desires all the time, right? We're constantly, yes, I want that, I'm inspired by that. Yes, I want that, I'm inspired by that. What can happen is we can become very distracted, and we could desire a lot of things, right? And so it's important to understand who you are and to understand are the things that are intuitively coming to you for you, because not always are your ideas yours, believe it or not. Sometimes you might have an idea for somebody else and say, oh my God, I got this amazing idea. But if that amazing idea isn't aligned with your purpose, then the decision is to park that idea. Could be to park it in a journal. If maybe you think it's something that fits in somebody else's life, maybe it's to give that idea away, right? So our process of creation is very natural, although sometimes it doesn't feel so natural, but it is. We're just born to manifest and create. That's why we're here. And every thought that we think, right? So every thought that we think has a energy frequency to it. So every thought that we think processes through our conscious mind, our judgy mind, and then it filters through our unconscious. And it is your mind, your unconscious is where it produces its feelings. Okay. So it could be on, I would say it's mostly your unconscious mind is on automatic pilot. So believe it or not, 98% of people are functioning on a daily basis on autopilot, which is pretty scary. So most of our day is spent unintentional, right? And your thoughts create feelings, your feelings cause your behaviors, and then your behaviors cause your actions and your results. And so if you think about it, if 98% of people are on automatic pilot and are unconsciously going through their day, guess what? They're not really their results, are they? They're not really all that we can be. So we always, whenever I ask the question, do you feel like you're living to your greatest potential? Most people say, absolutely not. I know I'm way more capable than what I'm doing. I know that I have more inside of me, right? And so how do we tap into that? How do we tap into possibility versus the results that we're getting? Because the results that we're getting are not, there's a big gap, right? Between where we are and where we could be, right? So if 98% of us are really just kind of going through the motions based on our past experience, that's really what is happening. We're defaulting. So to the left, you'll see an S, I, and P, and that means that we are spiritual, intellectual, and physical beings. So we are spiritual. We're gifted with an intellect, right? We're the only species, humans on the planet, that have that ability. And then we're in a physical body. We have 5 senses that we use all the time to navigate through life. We have smell, taste, see, touch, and hear that we are used to using. We always learn that we have those 5 senses in school, right? If you think about it, it's pretty much how you navigate everything you do. You walk into a room, there's certain smells that you associate with. You may hear something, you may hear music, and it could bring you back to an experience right away. So we're just always used to using those senses. But there are 6 intellectual faculties that we use, but we can change our life if we really understand how to use them to the degree in which we are consciously using them. And so the first one is imagination. And imagination, like if you were to close your eyes right now and you were to imagine a red ball, right? You can visualize that. So imagination is when you're able to picture something in your mind. That is your imagination. Everybody has one. Imagination is far greater than knowledge because it's really ideas. And sometimes it only takes one idea. It's really ideas that create success. So memory is, we're used to thinking like memory from like a past experience, right? So we think back, okay, let me recall what happened to my, when I did something when I was 10. Most of us say, God, I can't even remember back then, but that's your memory. But you also have a future memory, and that's remembering, remember I said, if you close your eyes and you picture a red ball, can you always go back to that red ball? Can you remember it? And then can you put that ball in the future? Can you put it in a future experience? So that's just a small example of what can you imagine about yourself in your future. Perception it's the way in which we see things, our perception of the world. And every single one of us has a different perception. So we do not see things alike based on our experiences, based on our learning experiences, based on our childhood experiences, based on our family experiences, based on every single thing that we've been through in our life. We just don't see exactly the same thing. So everyone has a different perception. And then you have intuition. Intuition is a gut feeling, right? It's more than a gut feeling, though. It's a hunch, yes. But intuition is coming from somewhere. It's spirit speaking to you, right? It's your intuitive sense. It's like your sixth sense, you know it. And it's trusting that intuition that's really important and knowing that it's for you. And then there's reasoning. And reasoning is that's where worry, doubt, fear, is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Should I, shouldn't I? You know, that's when we get lost in these, we can be in this cycle for sometimes a long time before we make a decision on something. And that's reasoning. And then there is will. And it's not will power so much as it's the will and the ability to focus. So if I were to say to you, close your eyes, focus on that red ball, have that red ball bounce up against a wall, back, up against a wall, back, up against a wall, and just really stay focused on just that red ball. That would be the power of the will. And that is to hold on to one area of focus until it's attained. So if you have a goal, are you just focused on that one area and that one goal until you bring it to life, right? So that would be the power of the will. And as we make decisions and we go through the process of purpose, it's really important because we need to use all of these intellectual faculties when we process our decision making. So we're going to decide things and we're going to create a filter today. And that filter is going to be, what you create and what you want to do. And your purpose can change. And I think sometimes people get really hung up here because they feel like, I have to know my purpose and I have to know it for my whole life. And it could change, it evolves, it doesn't stay the same. So, you know, you start off in one area of your life, and then you evolve into this next area, and then you evolve into this next area, and then you evolve into this next area. So your purpose evolves too. Overlap, and as you grow, your purpose grows, and that's okay. My purpose at one time, my purpose was that I wanted to travel out around the world, teach haircutting, and that's really what I did until I realized that I want more, until I realized that I want to be able to give more. I want to be able to teach people not only how to cut hair well, but I want to teach them how to change their life with their skill. I want to be able to teach them how to think differently, and I want him to be able to do life differently. Because if I want to live into my possibility, I know others do. And so I changed my purpose and I developed it with more knowledge, right? And when I did that, I had to conquer a lot of stuff inside. I had to go down deep and I had to figure out like what was holding me back, what was not allowing me to really kind of take off and just flow. Why does it seem so complicated? And it really wasn't that complicated. I just made it complicated. So I wanted to bring this because I feel like it could be easier, and it could have just a nice flow to it if we're able to get out of our own way. And so my purpose was to really teach people how to cut hair. And as I started to grow and I started to do these other things, I really wanted to learn how to be a speaker. So I took on the TED Talk because I just wanted to practice on a big stage and really, speaking. And some of the questions I asked, like, how does that fit into what I'm doing? Is that really something that I should be doing? How is this going to all work out? And what I was trying to do is I was trying to look into the future instead of embracing the now. And what's really important is to embrace your now, right? Embrace your now. Whatever it is that's going to come your way, if you're putting it out there and intuitively you're listening to your gut, then yes. The answer is yes. Just move. So, and it's an inside job, but we always are looking outside for the answer. But the answer is never outside. The answer is always inside. And so when it comes to your purpose, your vision, and your goals, all of those things are consciously directed. They direct your creative power. So remember, we talked about the fact that you are a manifester. You create. Well, you create through your purpose. So you envision something that you want, and you make a decision based on your perception, your reasoning, your will, right? That's the filter. And it goes directly through that filter. So that's why some of us just make, sometimes the wrong decisions, because we're filtering it through our past experiences. And so it's good to know these things so that you can then try to think differently and challenge your own thinking and your own beliefs. So this is my purpose statement. And you may not leave here today with a purpose statement, but you might leave here today with 5 bullets of what you want to do. So there's what you want to do, there's why you want to do it, there's no how. There's just what you want to do, why you want to do it, and who do you want to do it for? Because there's always adding value to somebody else in the process. Because we do things not just for results, but we do things because they have a purpose attached. So my purpose statement is to be the very best mentor, coach, trainer, and speaker that I could be in the area of haircutting, mindset, leadership, and human behavior, to help people to challenge their thinking, break through the beliefs that hold them back, and live into their possibilities. So I keep playing with this. I didn't have haircutting in there at all. But one of the things that in the last couple of weeks on my journey, I said, I kept going back to Wayne Dyer's Wayne Dyer has a quote that he says, and he says, "Don't let the music die in you." And I kept thinking to myself, maybe I need to layer, I need to not forget about what I have a natural talent at and I have an ability to do. Maybe I shouldn't just throw that away. Maybe I should, because I can help a lot of people still with that talent. And so why would I not do it if I can help more people? And I was challenging my own thinking, because at one point I was like, well, maybe I just give it up totally and I'll just do this. And then I was thinking to myself, well, that's kind of silly. Why would you do that? If I can help more people, why would I enjoy it. It's like a hobby to me, really. I love it. So why wouldn't I just give my talents away so I can help more people and then layer my learning with this other area that I have learned? And so, and what does that do? It creates what's called you being the center of distribution. So you're in flow, and I'm going to do a whole teaching on this, but you're in flow and you're giving of yourself, right? So your purpose in life is to find your gift. And then the real meaning of that is then to give it away and to help others, right? So when you have a gift, a talent that could change somebody's life, I want you really to think about how you can use that for your greater good. And so you might not be able to come up with a paragraph right now, but you might be able to come up with mentor, coach, trainer, speaker, in the area of what area, right? Or you may say, I want to be the best stylist behind the chair. Or you may say, I want to be a stylist educator. I don't know what yours necessarily is, but 5 bullets or 3 bullets or even 2 bullets of the very thing that you want to do. And then you're going to think about, in what way, how are you going to help to bring that to life? So if you notice it, my area is mentoring, coaching, training, and speaking. And I want to be the best in the areas of mindset, leadership, and human behavior, right? Haircutting is something that I know I've studied it for the past 30 years. I know it. And so those particular things are specialized in those areas that I can really help people to grow. So that is what a purpose statement looks like. And so when you see that purpose statement, you understand that everything that you do, everything, and every single thing that you do is filtered through that statement. So it's a good thing to read every day so that you really understand what it is that you are to do. So like when you get out of bed, your feet touch the ground and you're like, okay, my purpose is I want to be the best speaker, trainer, coach that I could be in the areas of do. And so why would you do this? Because it primes your mind in the beginning of the day, it primes your mind in the middle of the day, and it primes your mind at the end of the day. So this way, whatever you do, you get a phone call and somebody says, I was thinking I would love to have you on my podcast. Yes. Why would I say yes so quickly? Because it's in my purpose. It's aligned with what I want to do. And so sometimes we're on the fence with different things. We struggle to make a decision. Is it for me? Is it not for me? Should I do it? Should I not do it? When you understand what your purpose is, you always know when to say yes and when to say no. I think you really always know when to say hell yes and when to say hell no. Like it's that clear for you. So I'm just gonna stop the recording.